episode, I'm going to give you my best tips on passing the bar exam as someone who has unfortunately taken 3 different state bar exams. It's been a really, really long time. But I think these tips that I'm about to tell you still hold true. So, number 1 best tip is to not skimp at all on bar exam prep classes. You've already spent tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even more than $100,000 on your law school tuition and all of your expenses associated with going to law school. So what's an extra $5,000 or so more on top of that? Okay, you finally reached the home stretch here. It's not the time to save a few extra thousands of dollars by trying to study on your own or do one of those study at home types of cheapo classes. You got to take BARBRI. Okay, so I am not being reimbursed or sponsored by BARBRI. I'd be happy to be sponsored by them, but I think BARBRI is by far the best bar review prep class ever. You just got to take it. They break down everything. They tell you what to do. You get your lectures. You are told to do these assignments step-by-step, cookie cutter course, but it's going to get you to the best position ever to pass that bar exam. So cough up that money. If you really need to save money on BARBRI, look into some local bar association chapters that might have some scholarships available. Or I've heard that if you are the BARBRI representative, you work for BARBRI selling the courses at your law school, then you can get a free course. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but definitely look into it. If you need to borrow that money, put it on a credit card, do it, because you need BARBRI to pass the bar exam. There are going to be some people who say, well, I took such and such class and I still passed. Well, that's great for you. But I'm not a risk taker, especially when it comes to taking this ultra important exam that's going to make or break your career. So sign up for BARBRI. That's my first advice. I would also advise signing up for PMBR, which offers intensive short classes focused on the multistate bar exam. And so I did look this up recently because it was ages ago when I took the PMBR class back at Georgetown in DC, and it was very educational. I felt like I learned more from PMBR than I did in all of my actual law school classes combined. The same thing goes for BARBRI. You're going to really learn a lot of good stuff, you know, like some real things about the elements of certain causes of action, you know, how to make a will, things like that, family law in your state. Those are things that you might not have learned at all when you were in law school, learning about constitutional law or some ancient contracts case, for example. And another great tip that I have for you is do not travel. Anytime close, or even say like 2 months prior to the bar exam, do not travel at all, because you don't know what's going to happen to you, especially international travel. So I know this from experience, because the first bar exam that I took was the California bar exam, which is known as one of the hardest bars with a very low passage rate. And I was already at a disadvantage because I graduated in the middle of the school year, so I was going to take the February bar exam. And back then, BARBRI didn't offer the California bar exam review class in DC for the February exam. So I thought, well, you know, I studied for LSAT on my own and did pretty well, so might as well wing it. And look, I have all these books. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to fill out these like little blanks and do all the exercises and stuff. And maybe I could do it on my own too. And I also paid for a company called Micromash, which was a at-home study for the bar exam, which thankfully I looked them up recently. They went out of business quite a while ago. They changed their names, but when I clicked on the website that supposedly was for the new business name, they didn't exist either. So forget about Micromash. I mean, that's the days of the dinosaur, but it didn't work for me. Another problem that I failed the California bar exam by a few points. Big mistake was going to overseas. I went to visit my parents in Taiwan. They were living in Taipei at the time. And I thought, well, this was going to be a great time to go and spend some time with them while also studying for the bar exam. So I did have a good time in Taiwan, but unfortunately I also picked up some sort of weird like stomach or intestinal virus. It was just one of the sickest times in my life where I felt really weak. I could barely keep anything down, could barely eat. And then I flew into San Francisco to stay with my relatives for probably no more than a week, maybe even less than a week before the bar exam. I got back from Taiwan and was staying in San Francisco, so I was still really jet lagged. I think as you get older, you know, your body just can't get over the jet lag as quickly or something, because boy, was I totally exhausted and dizzy and everything when the bar exam rolled around, probably like 5 days, 6 days after I got off the plane. So I was at a real disadvantage because of, number one, not taking the real BARBRI class. Number two, having traveled overseas and picked up a terrible virus or some sort of illness that kept me running to the bathroom constantly. So don't disadvantage yourself like that. Boy, you know, if I could go back in time, but it doesn't matter because I never ended up working in California anyway. So flunked the California bar exam, just barely. And let's see, some more tips. You want to think of yourself as being in a cocoon, okay? So think of yourself as this precious soldier. You are going to pass the bar exam, and that is your sole goal in life right now, okay? Forget about anything else that could be distracting you from life. You need to disconnect from all social media, stop watching the news, stop watching YouTube, stop doing anything that could cause more stress or more depletion of your mental energy for the next month or two before the bar exam, okay? So as antisocial as that may sound, you know, I don't recommend that you go out with friends because something could happen to you. You could get sick, or some drama could happen where you end up being all stressed out and having your mind preoccupied by some personal issues or issues with your family or your friends or something, when you really, all you got to do now for at least the next month or two is to focus on all of those legal points that are required for your state's bar exam. Okay, that is your sole goal. You're at the home stretch now. So you can certainly get off Twitter, get off Instagram, Facebook, whatever, TikTok. Stop reading all this junk that is just going to clog up your head with miscellaneous, mindless trivia or minutiae of other people's lives and stuff. I mean, forget that. That is not important at all. You need to just focus on studying for the bar exam. Okay, so you might even consider just, you know, changing your email messages so there's an automatic message telling people that you will not be responding to emails for at least the next X number of weeks because you are preparing for the bar exam. Okay, so put yourself in that cocoon, isolate yourself from other people, isolate yourself from potential stressful situations or just even brainless things. You know, like how many times have you gone on social media and you saw some post from somebody that just kind of made you pissed off, or that you couldn't stop thinking about for a few days or something? I mean, that just uses up your mental energy. You don't need that at all. Isolate yourself from reality and the news and other people for at least a month before your bar exam. Okay, next tip is try to stay as close as possible as you can to wherever you're going to take that bar exam, even if it's going to cost you more money. Well, money is not the object now, or money should not be an issue at this point because you already spent so much money getting to where you are now. Congratulations, you got your JD. So don't flake out now or try to save that extra $150 or whatever it might cost for you to stay in a hotel that's really close walking distance to wherever your testing site can be, if there is a hotel that's within walking distance. Yeah, some people unfortunately do have to travel anyway to go to another city in order to take their state's bar exam. So make sure you stay in a really nice hotel. Don't stay in a flea bag type place. I remember when my ex-husband and I took the Virginia bar exam, it was in Roanoke, a very we had to drive all the way through Virginia, parts that we had never seen before. And lo and behold, we stayed at this motel type place. We were very limited in options anyway, so it's not like we really could have stayed at a much better place. Well, lo and behold, that place, I think, had bed bugs because he was itching the whole time of the exam. And luckily he still passed the exam, but that was very bad. That was a bad circumstance. And come to think of it, I think the room sort of smelled like cat pee, like cat urine. Yeah, so not only should you stay in a hotel, but make sure it's a nice one that is not going to give you bed bugs or smell like urine or cause you more distractions right before the biggest exam of your life. Another tip is when you're gonna take the bar exam, say like a week leading up to the bar exam, you should continue on with a schedule. Well, you're probably already on a schedule anyway if you signed up for BARBRI, but definitely get up early every day at pretty much the same time that you would probably be waking up to get ready to go over to the bar exam location. So you got to make everything as uniform as possible. Plan it out mentally. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is the time that I'm going to wake up. This is the breakfast that I'm going to have. I'm already going to have the food ready, whatever snacks, pack up whatever snacks. Different states have different rules about whether you can bring certain things, like in a Ziploc bag or something. If you can bring in a power bar, protein bar, granola bar, whatever you like to eat to keep your blood sugar level up. If that's allowed, bring that. If you're going to drive, make sure you have some food and drinks already stored in your car too. In terms of breaks during the bar exam, when you break for lunch, I definitely don't recommend going out to eat lunch with other people, especially groups of people. That's too distracting. You really need to focus. And just think, during those lunch breaks, when you can finally get out of the convention center or wherever you're taking the exam, during that lunch break, that is actually more free time where you can study some more. So yes, by all means do that. When I took the California bar exam, it was kind of exciting because I saw probably about half a dozen people that I knew from college, since I had gone to college at UC Berkeley and I was taking the bar exam in Oakland at the Oakland Convention Center. It was pretty exciting. So I'm saying hi to all these people, and we ended up going out to eat lunch together at some restaurant in Oakland, Chinatown. But in retrospect, in hindsight, that was actually kind of a dumb thing to do. During that time, I should have been just like going back to my hotel room and reading some more of the BARBRI books. There's more points to be had, more points that you can leave on the table when you just, slip up because you forgot about this aspect of the law. So this is the bar exam we're talking about. It's not the time to socialize at all, even though it might be like a cool reunion, to see some people from law school or your old friends from college and stuff. So use that lunchtime wisely, plan where you're going to eat or bring your own food so that you know that you're not going to potentially get food poisoning or get a stomach ache or, something could happen while you're eating out. Or basically you're going to be wasting time if you have to drive out or go out someplace to eat, especially if you're going to be chit-chatting with some friends during lunch. So use that time wisely. Lastly, I think that you just need to reach some sort of state of Zen, make sure that your body and your mind is in as optimal condition as possible for the bar exam. Okay, that includes exercising regularly, which I know is very important, because otherwise when you're sitting through all those lectures, you're taking all the practice tests, you're reading all the books and whatever, I think now most of it's online anyway, but you just become so sedentary and you can potentially get really out of shape just studying all the time, just like in law school. You're just sitting there nonstop, reading, and not moving around and stuff. So make time for exercise every day, say at least minimum 15 minutes of just walking around outside or jogging, or go to some exercise class, hit the gym for half an hour. Do that so that you can physically feel good and strong, and not turn into a total ball of sludge either during your bar exam prep. Mentally, again, you want to try to clean out your mind and not be distracted by other people or news or anything else that might distract you from studying for the bar. So I wish everybody out there who may be watching this YouTube video the best of luck on the bar exam. If you took BARBRI, if you took PMBR, then I'm sure you're going to do totally fine, and hope to create some more videos in the future that are a little more upbeat, other than the ones about why people should not go to law school, because if you've already gone through law school, it's too late for you or something, then you need some other kind of legal advice. And I hope to be able to help anybody who's watching this. Thanks, and thanks for subscribing.
I'll go to the bathroom too!
I just thought about is that you really want to take as many state-specific bar exams as possible in the month leading up to the bar exam. So one place to go to get them, these previously administered essay exams, would be at the local law school library. So, for example, when I was studying for the North Carolina State Bar exam, I went to the UNC Law School library. I would say I probably went there about 4 or 5 times, where you could check out the previously administered bar exam essays and work them through on your own time. And you could also photocopy them. Other places that I'm pretty sure have those bar exams would be your state Supreme Court Law Library. So definitely give them a call, check it out, see if they have those previously administered state exams available for your usage. So just work on them under time circumstances, focus, keep yourself in that little cocoon, isolated from other people and other potentially stressful events. Wish you the best of luck on the bar exam. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.